I recently uploaded a video regarding some emails that I sent to Nintendo back in the year 2006. It means so much to see just how many of you enjoyed that video, and I had such a wonderful time reading through all of the comments that so many of you left. I was amazed by just how many others out there said that they had experienced contacting Nintendo in the past, and getting to read about those messages that you sent them and the replies that you received was really incredible. Unfortunately, even after uploading that video, I never received a response to the email that I sent Nintendo in the year 2023. I recognize, however, that maybe the subject matter of that email was a little bit complex, maybe something that Nintendo wouldn't want to respond to. So I thought maybe I would try getting in touch with Nintendo again. However, a common theme I noticed in the comments that some of you left in my previous video was that you had actually sent physical letters through the mail to Nintendo in the past and had received some pretty incredible responses. This made me wonder if perhaps instead of sending Nintendo another email, this time I tried to send Nintendo a physical letter and maybe they would respond through that method. So I got my pens and paper out, sat down, got my thinking cap on, and wrote out an incredible letter. No, of course not. I typed it out on the computer. This is the year 2023 we're talking about, and this is what I said. Dear Nintendo, let me begin by thanking you for the thousands of hours and fun and entertainment you have provided myself and my family over the years. My parents owned the NES before I was even born, and then growing up in the early 90s, I was immediately introduced to your games through classic titles such as Super Mario Bros. And Star Tropics. To this day, my entire family continues to enjoy Nintendo's games on the Nintendo Switch. However, along the way there was one series in particular which I had always looked forward to, yet has not been seen now for over a decade. That series is Wario Land. As a huge fan of the Super Mario Bros. Games, Wario Land provided a fresh take on the platforming genre, bringing out that inner adventurer within all of us on a quest for gold and glory. Yet since the release of Wario Land Shake It in 2008, the series has unfortunately been absent from Nintendo's lineup. During that time, several games have been released in the WarioWare series, which I've also been following since the beginning and still quite enjoy. However, I hope that we have not seen the last of Wario's treasure hunting days, and that there might still be another Wario Land game released sometime soon. Thank you very much for your time. I can't wait to see what Nintendo comes up with next. Sincerely, Andrew. So as you can see, it's a pretty formal letter. I didn't just spit out a question, slap it into an envelope, and ship it off. I introduced myself, explain a little bit about my experience with Nintendo games and products, and then get to my main point, which I was hoping they would respond to. This letter was sent on May 4th, 2023, and it was sent to the address of Nintendo of America, which is interesting because I actually live in Canada, so there was a part of me that wondered, should I send this to Nintendo of Canada? But there was actually comments on my previous video which specifically mentioned people who didn't even live in the United States sending mail to Nintendo of America and still getting a response. So I figured let's go right to the source and see what happened. Also, at the bottom, this Wario graphic may seem a bit familiar to you, and that's because another thing we looked at in the previous video was Nintendo's 404 page. When something could not be found, this picture of Wario was shown, so I literally plagiarized that, slapped it onto a letter, and sent it off to Nintendo themselves. So that's a lawsuit if I've ever heard of one. But it's funny when you think about it, because much like the webpage that is missing, Wario himself in this form, again, has not been seen for pretty much 15 years at this point. So that's why I thought this would be a cool message to send and see if Nintendo would reply to. The Wario Land series is one that I've been playing since the early days. I've not just played them all, but have actually 100%ed every single Wario Land game ever to be released, all the way back from the Game Boy game Wario Land, Super Mario Land 3, up to the most recent Wario Land Shake It on the Wii. And that even includes Virtual Boy Wario Land back in the summer of 2006. Again with 2006. It was just a very exciting year for me for whatever reason. I set out on a mission to 100% every single Wario Land game just because I love the series that much. And after accomplishing that goal, I realized that there was still one Wario game I had never played, and that was Virtual Boy Wario Land. Of course, not owning a Virtual Boy or that specific game, it was very difficult to play it at that time. So what I turned to then was online shopping. I looked on eBay of all things back in 2006, and I found a Virtual Boy bundle with the complete console set and 6 games, which I ended up winning in a bid, because I feel like if you go on eBay these days, a lot of it's just buy it now. But I actually bid on it back then and won it for about $60, this Virtual Boy console and 6 games. Now, this was the first purchase I had ever made online, and it came after much begging and persuading my parents to allow me to do it, obviously not owning my own means of paying for it back then. But the funny thing is that we actually didn't pay for the item I had won with credit card or PayPal. My parents were still kind of on the fence about giving their credit card information online, so we sent instead what was called a money order, essentially a check in the mail to the person I had bought the items from, and then a few weeks later, the Virtual Boy and games arrived at my door. It is so bizarre to think back then that you could pay for things on eBay like that, but it's true, and I ended up collecting the entire Virtual Boy library that way, just because after buying a Virtual Boy that came with 6 games, there was only 8 more to go. So, I was in for a penny, in for a pound, and with the help of my parents, I was able to complete my Virtual Boy collection. But aside from that, the number one thing I wanted was that Virtual Boy Wario Land, and I got my hands on it, and I 100%ed it, and had a blast! So then, as mentioned, in 2008, Wario Land Shake It came out, so there was only a 2-year gap between my mission to 100% them all and the new one being released, which was fantastic. 100%ed that one, and then nothing for 15 years. And that's why we've asked Nintendo about it today. So just what happened to this letter that I sent back on May 4th of 2023? Well, days passed, weeks passed, even over a month passed, and by that point I was convinced that my letter had either gotten lost somewhere, or perhaps Nintendo just did not respond to physical mail anymore. But then, just when I thought all hope was lost, on June 16th, I opened the mailbox, and there it was, a letter from Nintendo. I could not believe it. They actually responded to my crazy Wario Land letter. And so, without further ado, this is what they had to say. Dear Andrew, thank you for taking the time to write to us here at Nintendo. It's lovely to hear from you. I would like to apologize for the delay in response. In your letter, you asked if we would release a new entry in the Wario Land franchise. It's great to hear what you would like to see from us in the future, and I'm happy to document your feedback and make it available to the other departments here at Nintendo. Many fans keep their ideas in a journal or book. We encourage you to do this too. That way, you and your friends can enjoy watching the progress you make as you develop your talent. I know that it would be great to tell you that a new Wario Land game has been announced and provide the release date. Unfortunately, there hasn't been an announcement or even a hint of an announcement either from us or our licensee partners, so for now we have to assume that it doesn't yet exist. Of course, new products are revealed by us and our licensee partners throughout the year, so keep checking our website's What's New section for the latest information and announcements. Once again, thank you so much for your letter, Andrew. I'm including a few small items I hope you'll enjoy. We wish you the best of luck and happy gaming! Sincerely, Nintendo of America, Inc. Leo. And there you have it, Nintendo still will respond to you, but either my question was just too complicated that I sent to them through email, or mail is the only way to get a hold of them. I was so ecstatic, and I think it's incredible that Nintendo still does this. And as I read at the bottom of the letter there, and is even stated at the very bottom where it says ENC, enclosed Nintendo promotional item ×2, there actually was more in the envelope than just the letter. One thing being a bookmark with Wario on one side and Bowser on the other side, and the other being a miniature print featuring Mario and a whole bunch of other characters from the Mario universe. It looks like it should be about the size of a postcard, however, it doesn't have anything on the back, although if you put a stamp on it, I'm assuming you could probably still use it as such. So while unfortunately, according to this letter, it doesn't sound like there are any new Wario Land games in the works, it is just so cool to see that Nintendo still takes the time to reply to physical mail. But come on, Nintendo, imagine a new Wario Land game, maybe even Waluigi could be in there. Maybe just make a whole Waluigi game. Like, there's so many good ideas here. Maybe this letter is just what they need, to get to work on that. Probably not. You know what? Let's take their advice. Let's like write down those games that we want into a notebook. Ah, crap. Regardless though, this was just a really cool thing to do, and I again want to thank everyone who watched and commented on the previous video and inspired me to give this a try. So I hope you enjoyed seeing that. Thank you all so much for watching, and hope to see you next time for something different. So thanks, and take care everybody.